Hello everyone. Grab a seat everyone. We're about to take the stage. Ian Foster, Steve Hansen, Kieran Reid. Who's got the microphones? Ian Long over here, Jed over there. Who's got the first question? First question, microphone please. First question, who's got the first question? Sav, great, thank you. Who's got the second question? Need microphones in hands, please, everyone. I need a lozenge here. Thanks, Sav. When you're ready.
Steve, well done.
Thank
An
you.
immense effort tonight. What are you most proud of?
First off, the team. I thought the team executed the plan very, very well. It wasn't perfect, but it is only our second test for the year, so we'll build from that. But I thought they did very well, and the bloke to my left here was pretty outstanding. You know, a bit grumpy I didn't take him off earlier, but 75 minutes was probably not a bad night's work for him after 7 weeks holiday.
Sav, you got a follow-up question, do you?
Did you think once you started to get in behind them a little bit that with that quickness of ball you would start to dominate in those patches?
Yeah, well, Foz and I had done a lot of work on what we wanted to do, and we felt that we could hurt them if we could get in there. It would take away their line speed, which would then let us play some rugby. And to their credit, they were in the game. I thought the score in the end sort of looks like it was easy, but it wasn't easy. I thought the Lions played magnificently, and when they can score tries like that first one, you're sitting there thinking, they should be doing that a bit more often, because it was probably one of the best test tries I've ever seen. So,
Sorry, Steve.
No, Joe, you were running the show. I'll be quiet.
Ross Cull, up the back.
Sorry, at the back is Steve. Ben Smith, how's he?
He failed the concussion test, so he'll go through all the protocols, see how he is. Ryan Crotty's pulled his hammy, so we already had Jack Goodhue in as a replacement for him with his rib, so Jack will just stay with us, and we'll try and get Ryan ready for maybe the last test if we're lucky.
A word maybe on Aaron Cruden. I mean, he was bracketed during the week, and he put in a pretty big performance, especially on defence.
Yeah, well, he's like everybody, isn't he, in our team? You've got to prepare to play, and we weren't sure, but we were prepared to wait and give him the opportunity, and he showed us on Thursday. Fozzie was happy with him, and so therefore I was happy. And he came out and played a good game of footy, and allowed us to put Bowden back after losing Bender back to fullback, and I thought it was a good combination.
Nige on the right.
Kieran, I understand that you'll probably want to put this onto the team, but can you please tell us your satisfaction levels? Is that one of the prouder personal performances you've put in tonight, given everything?
I'm not too sure. I think I go out there and I want to play as best I can and lead the team with my performance, and I guess tonight I felt pretty good, but I think what Steve said was it did take a lot of moments in that game, and it could have gone either way in some stages. So I think the guts and character that we showed to hang in there, and when we got our opportunities, I guess we took them a couple in that second half, so that was pleasing as well.
John Day on the right.
Steve, was that massive scrum and try to Rieko Ioane, was that the turning point in the game, do you think?
No, I think that it was more our ability to play off 9 and hurt them with just getting behind them and taking away what they wanted to do to us. I think that was more the turning point. Once we really looked after the ball and stopped trying to offload and do the stuff that we're known to do. But we built some real pressure through just doing that time after time after time, and I don't know what the tackle count was, but I'd say they had to make a lot of tackles, and in the end that fatigues you, and fatigue makes you make mistakes. So I think that really was the turning point. That was a critical part of the game. Obviously the scrum was a highlight, and as was Rico's second try. I think there's been a lot of question marks about the young fella. Was he ready? And that second try, not many people would have scored it. Because the guys chasing him are very good players and very quick. And he was just lucky enough to be a little bit quicker.
Mark Hinton to your right.
Steve, you talked briefly about Kieran's performance, but I just think it's probably deserving of a little bit more of a serious comment. He was quite magnificent in coming off no.
I thought I was serious.
Yeah. He was clearly quite magnificent in coming off no rugby. We all know he's kind of got elements of Richie about him. Was this kind of a Richie at his best type moment for Kieran?
Oh, look, they're two different people, but to be the All Black captain, you've got to have a lot of character and courage and be a fierce warrior. And, Richie showed that over a number of years. There's been previous captains that have done that. Now it's Rito's turn to lead the side. So, there was no hesitation in asking him to step up and play and do the role that we wanted him to do, because that's what an All Black captain does. And he did it magnificently. Hence why, I mentioned him and the team, which is not very often I mention any more than the team.
Liam on the right.
Steve, the Lions made no secret of the fact that they wanted to be the best forward pack in the world. What did you make of your pack tonight, and just looking ahead to what that means for the series?
Oh, I thought our tight five were very, very good. If your tight five operate, it doesn't, since Adam was a Cowboy, if tight five do the job, everyone else can play. And tonight's test was always going to be won in the tight five, and I think we won that battle. But that doesn't guarantee that we'll win it next week. We have to front up and make sure we prepare properly, and we've got some quality people there. We talked about that scrum before. We just changed our front rowers over, and those guys came on and scrum particularly well. So the bench did a great job for us there in the tight five. But we've got to be extremely proud of what they did. You don't become the number one side in the world for as long as we have been, with the greatest respect. And I don't want to sound like we're bragging here, but you don't do that unless you have a very good tight five. And I always find it amusing when everyone tells us they're going to beat us up in the tight five, because we're not just a team that can play flashy rugby. I think we can play down and dirty rugby too if we have to. And I mean down and dirty in the most respectful way. For all you people that like to write funny stories, take note, please.
Back row. Yep.
Yeah, Steve, you knew the other way that the Lions were going to come after you was through Conor Murray's aerial game. How did you feel you dealt with that?
Yeah, not too bad. I thought there wasn't a lot of blocking going on, so everyone had a crack at his kicks and our kicks, and both teams really competed hard for the ball in the air, and it's a real skill, isn't it? And losing Bender took away one of the best components in the world at it, and but for Bodie to go back there and do what he did, I don't think he dropped one all night. So really pleased with how we dealt with it.
Yep, Nige.
Ian, how much of the attacking game have you shown tonight? How much do you have in reserve for the next two tests?
Well, we went into this game with a plan to combat them, and we showed everything we needed to show tonight, and I guess we'll go away and have a look at it and see what other opportunities there were. But we got some of the critical parts of our attack right today. But again, there was some stuff that we let them back in. They created. We gave them a couple of opportunities off our attacking ball turnovers. There's some things we can improve, but you have to wait and see for the rest.
Yep, question in the front.
Steve, a big win, a commanding win for the All Blacks. Is there a danger of thinking the job's done now? Just elaborate just a little bit on that.
Well, the job isn't done, is it? It's a three-match series, and to win it, you've got to win two of them. So winning one just gives us, I guess, an advantage because we're one up. But so many times in sport that the winning team gets knocked over the next week. So this team has always worked on the mantra that we want to be better, and we don't always achieve that, but that's what we strive to do. And so we'll go away, we'll enjoy tonight because we should. Test matches are special occasions, and there's a lot of hard work went in to get that win, and then we'll come together again in the morning and start our preparation for the next week. And look, they're a good team, so if we don't prepare properly, we'll get second, and then it's 1-1, and we come back here to try and win the thing. So we've got to make sure we give ourselves every chance of winning it in Wellington, and that means preparing with no stone unturned.
Mark on the right.
Kieran, just continuing on what Steve was talking about there about, I guess, refocusing pretty quickly because the job moves on pretty quickly as well. What have you said to the guys, and what will you say to them around that, I guess, the balance of enjoying a great test performance and then refocusing?
I don't think it'll be too hard for us. I think, we're super excited about the series. I think it showed probably from our performance out there today. And so, it's can't assume too many things. So we'll certainly be talking about it. But you get a result on Saturday through what you do throughout the week. So we'll, as coaches, leaders, we'll talk about that and figure out exactly what we need to do throughout the week to make sure we prepare best we can. And we'll turn up next week and be as excited, I'm sure. Have a chance to play against the Lions. So awesome opportunity for us.
We've got 2 more questions, one up the front and then one down the back.
Steve, what did you make of the contest between Sonny and Bentea?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Ben Teo is a really good rugby player. I think he's only going to get better and better. He's like Sonny, isn't he? He's converted, so it takes a wee while to really find your feet. But he's a magnificent defender. He's got a great left foot step, and he carries strong and causes some problems. But I don't think it was really a battle between those two. I think like half the time the 10s were having to tackle him, or one of the Lucies were tackling him, and the way we were defending. So, but I think he'll be happy. I know Sonny will be happy how he played, because I thought he stood, carried really, really strong. Defensively, he was good. So both of them I think can be happy with their performances.
And the last question, right down the back. Put your hand up. Yep. Thank you.
Kieran, the All Blacks, by the scoreline, made it look relatively easy in terms of the up-front battle. How difficult did it feel out there?
It was a true test out there. I think, it probably took us, I don't know when it was, 60 minutes or whatever, that we finally able to string some opportunities and finish them off. Both sides in that first half played really intense rugby. It was quick. The ball was moving. It was exactly what you wanted to see out of probably, the Lions are a pretty damn good team and what we can put out there. So, it was good footy. It's what you want to play. It's how you want to showcase this game. And Test rugby takes a bit of time to wear teams down, and when you get your opportunities, you might only get a few. Being able to take those, and we finally got those opportunities, later in that second half, and able to take it on.
Thanks, everyone. We'll have players in the mix zone after the Lions presser.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Head coach Warren Gallen and match captain Peter O'Mahony. First question, please. Mr. Jones, then, please.
Warren, in what areas were the All Blacks better than the Lions tonight?
I thought they played very well up front. They did a good job of stopping our line speed. They come really hard off 9, which was got them some front foot ball and very aggressive at the breakdown. So, we need to learn from that and make sure that we're better in those areas next week in particular.
Did they take you by surprise with their physicality in and around the breakdown?
No, we spoke about them potentially trying to slow our line speed down, but by kicking a bit more and trying to kick in behind us. And the other way to do that is to come really hard off 9, and they did that effectively. So we're just going to have to make sure, if they do employ those tactics next week, that we're just much better at stopping that momentum that they created off 9. So they were hats off to them. They were very direct in the way that they played. They didn't play a lot of throw the ball around. They just came in fairness to them, they were physical up front, and so you've got to give them credit for that.
Warren came out on the wrong side of the discipline, the penalty count. Was that a fair reflection, and how can you improve in that element?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the games that we've played, and that's a disappointing thing. I mean, we've given away a few soft penalties, and they've been costly in the games there that when our discipline's been good, and we've given away less than 10 penalties in the game, and it's reflected in the performance. So you put yourself under pressure by giving away soft penalties and penalties when we had them squeezed a little bit under, down towards their line, and then allowing them a soft exit. So look, it's an area that we need to look at and make sure that we improve for next week.
Katie.
Warren, speaking of improvements, did you see enough from your side tonight that leads you to believe this could still be a closely fought series?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I thought we created some great chances, and we played some lovely rugby and scored a couple of nice tries, which was hugely positive. It's disappointed that there's a couple of golden moments, great opportunities to score that we could have taken, and then we've just switched off a little bit when they've caught us on a quick tap, which Elliot Daly at half-time said, look, I've just got myself caught in no man's land. So that's fixable. From a kick, the ball's gone through Liam Williams' hands and it's bounced into Rico Ioane's arms, and he scored from that. It's fixable. And then a scrum advantage where we've missed the first up tackle. So for me, those things are all fixable. I mean, the All Blacks haven't played sort of champagne rugby and thrown the ball all over the place. In fairness to them, they were very direct up front, and so we need to make sure that we're better in those areas in terms of combating them for next week.
Rory.
Peter, firstly, how are you? Because you come off, I think, with an injury.
Yeah, just got a bang in the shoulder. Should be fine.
And just from your own sense, where did that game get away from you?
Look, obviously you're being put under pressure by one of the best teams in the world, but I think, as Warren said, with that opportunity just off the kick-off in the first half and almost same again in the second half, and we didn't convert two very good chances. Look, I mean, we spoke about discipline already. If you're going to be over 7-8 penalties, you're going to struggle, especially against a team with the quality side of New Zealand. So look, there's a huge amount of positives to take, and there's a couple of easy fixes as well.
Jack.
Warren, after the first half try and then the second break in the early after the half time, did you feel like you had weathered the storm and it looked like your side was on the ascendancy at that point? Yeah, no, look, we'd come under a bit of pressure in the first half, and we've scored, and if we'd scored after half time, that's 13 all. That's an interesting take on the game, and we had some periods where we defended pretty well, but we've made given away some a couple of soft penalties and allowed them out of defence. I mean, you could argue that Ben Teo probably is an option to shift the ball, and when we've created an opportunity, an overlap chance, and you finish those chances, and it changed just the whole mindset and momentum of the game, and unfortunately we've created those and haven't quite finished them off.
Paul Hayward.
Warren, we could see why you picked Liam Williams in that first half with those brilliant counter-attacking runs. You saw the other half of it, I suppose, in the second half with that drop catch. How would you assess, his performance?
Yeah, I think if he was assessing it himself, he would say it was mixed. There was a couple of great moments, and then in that role you've got to be really accurate in the air, and we've lost a couple where it's come forward. And then one that's gone through the hands, towards the end of the game. So, look, we've just got to make sure that you're 100% accurate, that you're in control of the things that you're able to make sure that you're able to do. And look, disappointing thing for me, we've put them under a bit of pressure, kicked 3 points, and then haven't taken the kick off. And from that, as a result of that, they've kicked 3 points, straight away. So, and those are things that we can make sure that we're better at for next week.
Thank you. Any injury issues, Warren, from the game?
Spoke to the doctor. He just said there's nothing serious, couple of stingers or something, but nothing, no injuries.
So a good position to be in,
yeah.
Especially with you were talking about obviously other people might come into contention for moving forward. So you obviously full squad to work from. You can sort of go at it again straight away.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think it's a big game for those guys on Tuesday night against the Hurricanes. They'll see that as an opportunity, and obviously from my point of view, we've got to be much more physical next week against the All Blacks, because they came with a very physical approach tonight, and were very direct, and we need to improve in that area.
Yeah.
Warren, you probably expected to get a bit more dominance up front than you had tonight. How do you sort of go about rectifying that for the rest of the series?
Yeah, absolutely, that was disappointing. I mean, we've had some success of our driven line-out, and we didn't do that. I mean, the All Blacks sacked us, pretty effectively tonight to negate that. So tactically we'll need to look at that. I think we got one line-out penalty, but we didn't get a lot of success from our line-out, and so we need to make sure that we were better in that area, or tactically that we change. So, and obviously there's one scrum that's caught us as well. That's put us under a bit of pressure. So, yeah, from a set piece point of view, there needs to be a couple of areas of improvement.
Ross at the back, please.
Warren over here. Sorry. You mentioned the Hurricanes game. Do you see that as an opportunity as opposed to a distraction in what is now a huge test week?
No, it's a huge opportunity. It's a big chance for, like I said, those players that weren't involved tonight to go out there and give a good performance. And it's the only time on tour that we're going to be in one place the first time we're going to be in one place for a week. So we'll be able to sort of settle in a little bit and hopefully prepare in the right way.
Rory again, please.
Peter, yourself and Connor had a chat with Jaco Piper just at half-time. Johnny and Sean both remonstrated with him after the game as well. Was there a lot of frustration about some of the decisions that were going on out there?
No, look, in the heat of battle, you just question some of his assessments, and as a captain or as a 9 or whatever it is, you just ask the interpretation, you clarify it so you can be better the next time. And I'm sure the lads and myself and Connor were just asking him about a technical issue. I'm sure the lads were doing the same at the end.
Warren, given how many people talk about the first test being so important, how would you go about picking the players back up from this?
Yeah, I think from a player's perspective, I mean they'll be critical of their own performances and making sure, looking at what aspects that we need to improve on, and particularly I think the All Black Type 5 were very good. They were very strong up front, and we need to be tough on ourselves, but also honest with their own performance and look where we need to improve. And we felt that we'd improved as the tour went on, and we've learned from the games that we've played. And the biggest thing is that a lot of things are fixable. And we've played a game tonight, and they've brought an intensity to tonight, so we know what to expect for next week, and we need to make sure that we're prepared both physically and mentally for next week, and to know what the step up is for when you come up against the All Blacks.
Okay, before the disco gets in louder, we'll wrap it there. Thank you very much.